Hey, alright, we're back with another video. Today, let's react to Andrew Wilson calls out feminist who tries to manipulate with her tears. Alright, y'all know how I do. Let's hop right into it. No time to waste. Go.
Yeah, so it's just academic doublespeak. It's away from the whole dualistic standards. So, what they mean by racism is exactly what they mean by racism across the board.
I don't mess with white women, alright? But I kind of watched a couple more of the videos with this girl. And her vibe is cool. Y'all, like her vibe. She got a vibe to her. It's just cool. That's cool.
It's just that in order to make whatever they consider the oppressive class not be oppressed, they call...
I'm not saying I don't mess with white women. If a white woman came along and was cool, I probably would. I got Mama Bear, though. I'm with Mama Bear right now. I'm just saying, like, I didn't want to sound racist when I said that bullshit. Like, there are beautiful white women. Just like there are beautiful black women, beautiful all kind of women. Like, I just haven't personally been in relationships with white women. But the way he's just fucking rude. But I think y'all would feel the same way if y'all actually talked to that girl. Y'all wouldn't feel like she was trying to be manipulative or trying to be overbearing with it. I think she'd be more understanding with the conversation. Andrew's just a fucking jackass. Like, talking to him is like, he's arguing with everything you say. Like, you can't get nothing across to this dude. Like, it's not even really a debate. It's just a bad faith argument conversation with this dude all the time.
Oh, something else by saying there's not enough institutional power. But if you were to ask them something like, well, what about over in South Africa, right? They would still say that, no, whites really have the institutional power there no matter what. No matter what. So it's like...
They do, stupid. They own 81% of the land. They literally set up rules that the South African government are going against, that are saying stuff like blacks can't move into this place. This is our specific spot. That's literally what's going on. That's why people think Trump is racist for that. Like, he's stupid. Like literally, like how are they the minority in that country and own 81% of the land? They've had power for almost like 3 decades? Yeah, 3 decades. Like about 3-4 decades. Andrew, like, he makes a lot of bad faith arguments. He doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about.
It's never, and I've been in these debates multiple times, it's never a consistent definition. It's an academic doublespeak.
Oh, you're too stupid to hear it, man. Oh, this dude argues nothing but bad faith arguments all the time. I'm gonna let him talk though for a second. But like, what feminism believes in is the social, economic, political advancement of both the sexes. That's a clarity. Like, they focus more on women because more women are oppressed in society, and they are. Women have to deal with patriarchal standards, along some with black women have to deal with racist standards. White women have to deal with patriarchal standards. And it's clear because you talk about, like, it's clear because I don't understand this. He talks about force doctrine and doesn't realize what he's actually saying. That force is how everything is applied in society. Women can't apply force, so literally, like, that implicates, that alludes to the fact that women don't have the ability to be able to defend themselves in society, right? He talks about force doctrine consistently. You don't think that oppression can happen under forced doctrine, or that there are a lot or some, I'll say whoever want to think it, ignorant men who will apply forced doctrine in smaller situations. Like when a woman's at a party, force her to have sex with him. When a woman is like, When a woman is like, in any kind of situation, apply force to say, I'm stronger than you, so I should get what I want to get. Apply force doctrine to smaller situations. Like, if you have the capacity to be able to do that. People, it doesn't apply, that only applies to governments. No, it can apply in all situations, and this is the problem that women are talking about.
When it comes to misogyny, worse than misandry, yeah, right. The only reason that she says that is because she believes in a bunch of stats which are completely false. They're totally false. We've been over multiple times. Women do just as much damage with their misandry as whatever she considers misogyny to be. And the truth is...
Oh my God. Are there more women killing men? More women are being unalived by men than men are being unalived by women. And you could even say that a lot of those reasons could possibly be because of hatred towards women. What are you talking about, man? There's way more damage from misogyny than there is misandry. Misandry, your feelings just get hurt. Misogyny, like, can literally lead to violence on women.
This is all just demonization. Yeah, I don't know why she's crying. I don't know. I have no idea.
I'm not crying right now, but yeah.
Okay. This seems very manipulative, by the way. I'm just pointing that out. But,
yeah, you're entitled to your beliefs.
Mm-hmm. Would you like to engage with the misogyny being worse than misandry?
Sure.
Topic?
Yeah, I mean, I'll just read out the statistics that I have here about violence against women, and that's basically what my belief that misogyny is worse. Misogyny kills and misandry annoys is sort of a phrase that people say. I think both definitely aren't healthy, but 1 in 3 women experience violence in the home or just generally in their lifetime. World Health Organization, 50% of women are murdered in 2017 were killed by an intimate partner, United Nations. A lot of child brides, with victims being women married to older men, as well as 71% of human trafficking victims being women, often used for sexual exploitation purposes. And that a lot of that is rooted in the belief that women are property and objects that men can do what they want with. So that's why I believe that misogyny is worse. I think, again, though, I will concede, I think both can be harmful.
And can I just point out real quick that sexual liberation is a key cornerstone of feminism, including OnlyFans, things like this.
Oh my God, you're really about to justify that, man. Come on, man. Y'all, come on, man. He's really about to justify sex trafficking women by using the fact that the sexual liberation movement, oh, this dude, he's nothing but a bad faith argument, man.
And that's been linked heavily to sexual trafficking,
Oh,
and still
no, it hasn't.
The left does everything they can to promote that women should be able to engage in prostitution, even though
Show the statistics. Somebody in the comments, please show me the statistics of that. This dude, man, he's just arguing
to
completely.
those very same outcomes, which is insane. On top of that, she says misogyny kills, misandry annoys. That's not true. We look at post-divorce stats for suicidality, for instance. Same thing. Even when it comes to men's health, they do unalive themselves at higher rates, right? Now, I would still argue that that's mostly because they're better at it, but also because, and what I mean by that is that, like, women will basically they just won't use guns, right? And men use guns. But yeah, I would say...
He just made an argument that she wasn't making. She's saying that women are unalived more often by men. It's not vice versa. So if we're talking misogyny and misandry, misogyny has more of a detrimental effect on women because women are unalived by the men. Men unaliving themselves has nothing to do with what she's talking about. Men unaliving themselves is a whole totally different conversation. Like, she's talking about the danger that women have with facing men and the lack of danger that has men facing women. Women aren't a danger to men as well as men are a danger to women. Some can be, but most aren't. Like, genuinely aren't. So that's what she's arguing. And he's making an argument about men unaliving themselves. That's a man problem, which is a problem. Don't get it twisted, but that has nothing to do with the point that she just made out of that book. Oh.
So when we're talking about misogyny versus misandry, what's really interesting about this is they'll often only point to the stat of death as though that is the only stat which is worth looking at.
Oh.
You look at what's going on in society, we also have to look at children, the effects and outcomes of children. And the demonization of men through misandry often will lead to men or boys, young girls, things like that, losing respect for men. It also leads to men losing custody of their children, which leads to bad outcomes for children. Like, even if it were the case that I accepted all of her stats, by the way, that also proves that feminism is not doing a good job protecting women, literally failed its promise of protecting women. But on top of that, can we just point out that she doesn't bring up the outcomes?
When did feminism say that it was protecting women? It believed in the social, economic, political advancement of both the sexes, but feminism itself has to protect women? I don't know. It's weird. It's
children ever. They never bring up the outcomes for children, which are completely and totally awful when we have these split family homes and the glorification of single motherhood, which feminism has done. They only point to the fact that, well, misogyny can lead to the unalivement. Also, can I just point out, what about the fact that there's about, 1 million women plus a year who murder men's children in the womb? I just want to point that out while she says, well, this is basically misandry is just harmless annoyance. At the same time, remember, having 1 million abortions a year.
May I just ask, I'm trying to
I was
figure,
listening.
were you listening?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
I was listening.
Okay, do you want to
Sure.
refute or counter?
I think that, like, being pro-choice, it like the way that it's defined about taking life is always going to be open to interpretation. I think people will think different things about when life begins, and so ultimately the crux of that, it seems like you believe in God. Do you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think that because of that, we will never see eye to eye, because I don't consider it to be murder before a certain point. Like, obviously, like, if the fetus is viable, if, there are certain points where
I only ever use secular arguments. So even if it is the case that
Really?
I believe in God, yeah, I've only ever used secular
So
arguments.
what would your argument be,
That the case for sentience makes no sense, and that scientifically, the established scientific consensus, the legitimate scientific consensus, non-sociological consensus, is that this is a human life at conception, immediately. That is the scientific consensus. You can look at any source you want, that's the scientific consensus. So if that's the case, right, then we should treat it as though it's a human life.
Sure. Yeah, and I think that's going to vary from person to person. I think that there's a lot of people in the scientific community, and again, the scientific consensus does vary on when life begins.
It does not.
Because the religious idea is
the consensus does not vary. There's
Okay.
no source you could ever look to, and I'm willing to be corrected right now live. There's no source I've ever been able to find
Right.
which refutes that the scientific consensus is that human life begins at conception.
Oh, thank you.
There would be no other way to determine human life other than that it began at conception. You wouldn't even be able to determine it another way. But you can go ahead. What does scientific consensus say? When does human life begin?
Sure.
I'll wait.
So it's saying that there are three different perspectives: the scientific, philosophical, and religious. Scientific, most biologists agree that a new, unique human organization comes into existence at fertilization.
So human life
yeah.
at conception.
However,
at conception, right?
However,
but
let
they're
her
saying
talk.
that a new human organism, but there's people that have different agreements. That doesn't necessarily necessitate that doesn't mean life.
Well, what is life? It's alive.
I mean, that's it.
No, you're arguing. Now you're being bad faith. She just proved that the scientific consensus is not all in agreement on what you just said. I wish she would. She's not good at honing in on this thing. I just proved that the scientific consensus is not a unanimous decision on what you just said. They have a disagreement on what life is at conception.
It's that's what I'm saying. Is it's different for everyone. They're saying that the human organism forms at conception, but that doesn't mean it's life.
Well, what is an organism? Is it alive?
I mean, like they're talking about human life.
Yeah. Okay, but what? Yeah, what is life? An organism would be alive, right?
I mean, but again,
Doesn't fucking matter, dude. Doesn't fucking matter. The scientific consensus is not an agreement. You are wrong.
and there's a difference between human life and an organism. Don't you agree?
Isn't
Human
well? If an
beings.
organism is alive and it's a human organism, then it's human life, right? How could it not be?
I mean, yeah, you can believe what you want. I think just different people are always going to have different opinions on it. And
Yeah, because I was just pointing out the scientific consensus.
Yeah.
And I was correct, right? Scientific consensus by most biologists, which would be consensus,
Yes.
say that human life begins at conception, right?
Sure, yeah.
So then what we're left with from the secular perspective is sentience.
At this
And
point,
that
she's just going along with it.
really makes no
But she's
sense.
just tired of talking to this dude.
That's it. So I would always use the secular argument.
Okay.
Secularists can't determine when sentience begins. Since they can't determine when sentience begins, there's no reason for us to assume it doesn't begin at conception of life.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, there's different arguments for, like, so I understand your argument's more biological. That makes sense. I understand your argument. I mean, there's different reasons people argue for being pro-choice and pro-life. So pro-life, pro-choice. But, there's different ways of looking at it. And I don't think we'll ever agree, so I don't know.
Okay.
But yeah, but good. I enjoy hearing about your arguments and what you have to say, so.
She's sweet. She's a sweet person. Like, overall, she was a sweet person. The crying, I don't know. Like, I didn't really see her crying, but she's a sweet person, and you could tell. Like, it's just, he's just an asshole, so you guys couldn't read that she is a sweet person. But anyways, y'all, I'm out. Peace.